Hello and welcome, Kukaponga. This is Kelly Ritchie. I'm coming to you from Australia. I'll be in Mexico next month. And today I'm going to talk something about what I believe, what our philosophy is at IBSPA and why we think we're such a good fit with your organization. First of all, we have this philosophy down here. If you can see my cursor, the philosophy is that we believe people teach people, person to square person. And what we mean by that is everyone in your organization is always teaching someone something. It doesn't matter whether it's good, bad, ugly, or great, they're still teaching it. And we believe that that's the advantage. Just teaching somebody how to sell something, for me, is not nearly as important as it is to increase the awareness of the individuals in your organization about your brand, the brand meaning, and ultimately, all business is about profit. So we believe that we have to teach all the people in your organization about your philosophy, about your brand, about your brand presence, and we believe that will increase the sales. And how do we do that? Well, we believe, first of all, that you've got to create an environment, and that environment has got to be strong and it's got to be worthy of all the people you deal with. And so we're very, very strong believers that your brand must do that. And how do we go about doing that? Well, we believe that there's 12 levels of complexity. And it sounds complicated, but it's really not. We believe there are four drivers. We believe the first driver is cost. And cost really is the energy, the space, the time, the matter, the money that you invest into your business, into your brand. And we think it's important that everybody understands that. The next driver is time, short, medium, and long term. So when you're setting your goals or when you're setting your sales campaign, time is the calibrator. Time is what you really have to decide and make sure that everyone's on board with. The third thing is the activities, in person, emails, direct mails, training programs, anything that relies on your organization going out to the world has to be well orchestrated, it has to be well managed. Everyone in the brand has to be present with what the brand is. Exchange. What are you exchanging? So you're exchanging money, you're exchanging time, you're exchanging energy, materials. We need to optimize that. We need to make sure that your organization is getting the absolute best for the organization. Then we believe there's four communication levels. The first level is words. What your words is your organization use to promote your organization? And we believe they're the leading calibrators. So what you do is whatever words you put out there, whatever words your organization speaks, it's important that we manage that. Numbers. Numbers are a lagging calibrator. What we mean by a lagging calibrator is that all the numbers that we measure, how many participants, how many emails did you have to send out, how many direct mails did you have to send out, what did you have to do to get somebody to buy from you, and how do we make it effective so that every time that we do a communication through your brand that you get the optimal proposition. Symbols. What are your symbols? Well, as far as I can see, is this little guy, this Indian with the tent, and that's one of your major symbols. And we have to make sure that that symbol is well managed, well used throughout your organization, and people use it with pride. They take absolute pride and care of that symbol. Focus. And what we want to know is, what are we focusing on? And quite often you say, well, we've got all this stuff, and it's too wide a focus. We narrow the focus. We have 90-day outcome cycles where we say, okay, for the next 90 days, we're going to focus on this. We're going to make it happen, and we're going to ingrain it into the organization. That's why when we start to look at it, it's very, very important that we make sure that you get absolute value for everything you do. And then four levels of skills. We have to be able to train people, and your people have to be able to train people. So we want to train the trainers. We then want to coach. Coach is enhancing it. So if you don't have a skill, you can't coach something. So you got to train them first, then coach them in enhancing the skill. Facilitate. In all franchises, and this is where my expertise is, in all franchising, we have to facilitate the well-being of the franchise. We have to make sure that everything is moving towards a brand presence, a brand awareness, and we've got to facilitate that. And partner, well, finally, the fourth level of skill is decision making. How do you make decisions? And I make decisions as best I can on the information or the particles of information. So you have 100 franchises, I don't know. In most franchises, you've got 30 or 40 that are just outstanding. Then you've got some just a little bit below that. And then you've got the ones that need a lot of work. Whatever the matter is, we've got to make clear, concise decisions on how to make those people be better, how those franchisees can be better for your organization. And so what IBSPA really is about is we're business development systems encompassing training, coaching, facilitating, moderating, outsource education company developing manuals, systems, and process. And really, all the systems and processes are about better decision making. Can we support your organization to make better decisions? Because the better your decisions, the faster your growth. And what we really want to do is make sure that Kukaponga really does the job at the best, and we're your best partners. How do we intend to do this? Well, we believe we have a method, we have outcomes, and we have objectives. Our methodology really comes from a thing called a cone of learning. And we understand the difference between learning that's remembered, learning that's passive, and learning that's active. To the best, we employ all three. We have learning where we send out information and people really aren't supported that well, but they've got to take the initiative to understand the information. And so what we really like to do is we like to be active. We like to be interactive with your people in the field, with your customers in the field, because we know that's when we get the best result. We know that the best result is when it's retained. The information is retained in who they are. So our methodology is very much hands-on, people teaching people, person to person, and we study this cone of learning, and we're very, very careful to make sure we apply that with our methodology. The outcomes that we're looking for, design future outcomes. We like to believe that every organization has to have a quality, a standard, has to meet the rules. It has to have rules that they can have so they can create standards. We want to enforce them and we want feedback. All rules always need to be revised over time. And so we need feedback and we want feedback. We encourage, we develop feedback systems. Enhance communication. We enhance communication by knowing what time do you say something? What is the timing of really following up, following through? What are the sequences? What is the lag? And lag is usually the part that hurts most companies because they don't allow the time. It is very unusual for cycles and change of cycles to increase sales and any of that in under 90 days. So we like to work in 90-day cycles. The other outcome is we want to train leaders. We want your leaders to know that every business, you're in business, and ultimately a business wants to make margin, add value, it must make a profit, and it must repeat. If it doesn't repeat, it's hard to create wealth. And what we're about is wealth creation. We're very much believers in creating wealth. The way that we believe you've got to do that is you've got to create environments. Your environment's got to be predictive, directive, vital, and focused. That means that you're always looking to go somewhere. You're not going to be predicting, you'll be predictive. And you direct the result towards it. You make sure you're focused and you focus the vital now. The more you can focus the vital now, the more focused your organization becomes. We believe all business is about family, communities, countries, and biosphere. And we include the biosphere in it now because really all countries around the world, all environments around the world are polluted. And if we don't allow for the fact that there's pollution in many, many forms. So we believe that you got to create environments. You got a family environment, you got a community environment, you got a country environment, and ultimately everyone on this planet is part of the biosphere environment. And we've got to take that into account. You realize participants will be actively involved by means of frequent answers to open questions and closed questions. Besides, we will create space to discuss, teach, and learn from each other. We will include whatever possible simulations or real-life activities. I think that's what you do anyway. And I think that we can enhance it, we can increase the focus of it. Our objective is to create environments of improved communication, supporting leaders, increasing sales, managing profit at all levels of brand, increase brand awareness, and create brand presence. The more your brand is present in wherever you're at in any community, the more likely it is to make a sale. It is one of the most important things. The two key elements of a business are brand presence and sales. The more your brand is present, the easier it is to make the sale. If you don't have brand standards and if you're not brand present, it is very hard to make the sale and you're forever selling. The question that I ask everybody is, why does your customer buy? Your customer buys because it's safe, reliable brand. Your brand has to be safe and reliable, and we've got to communicate that. If we're going to increase the sales, we've got to increase the brand present in whichever community you're in, whichever country you're in. You've got to increase the brand presence, and that's what we're about. The greater the brand presence, the easier the sale. We believe that you've got to monitor cost, you've got to monitor time, you've got to monitor activity, and most of all, you've got to work out the exchanges. And so now let's connect the dots. Let's go and start connect the dots. Our methodology is really covers the spectrum of everything you need to have in a business. Sales is one aspect of a business. Yes, it's important for cash flow. Cash flow is important if you're making a profit as well. So, when you got cash coming in, that's important, but it's the cash going out, it's the profit, it's what's left over that we're really looking for. Any good business owner knows that you've got to have money coming in and money going out. And our methodology is very much about running a business. We're running businesses. Franchise is a business, and a franchisor is an educator of business. So this is how our real methodology. Any type of education that will work to transform belief, systems, and habits must include the following components. High impact. The education must get everyone's attention, engage, and fill with meaningful, immediate, usable content. IBSPA style of education involves training, coaching, facilitating, decision making. High frequency. That's the next part of our methodology. Beyond the initial rollout, there must be frequent contact to ensure change and improvement. This is like going to the gym regularly in order to get into shape and then hold your new shape. The daily, weekly, 12 weekly programs and weekly feedback sessions are designed to create vital actions every day, creating measured results over time. And finally, short duration. Each weekly interaction must be short time framed, focused attention outcome, driven, future creating. If you don't connect one thing to the next thing, all you ever get is these actions that happen and die. Action happen, die, action happen, die. You've got to connect it to a future. You've got to know what your future is. And ultimately, a franchise business or a business has to go intergenerational. It's got to create an asset that allows it to continue to go on and on. Long after the owners that are there now, they can sell it to somebody else or they can pass it down to their families. To me, owning a business is about creating an asset of intergenerational wealth. And so, to the point, so as not to waste time or lose interest. We also know that the compression of time increases the amount of work and learning that can happen over the period of time. In other words, the more intense it is, the more they're likely to be involved in it, engrossed in it. And when they're engrossed in it, what it means is it's going to convert your franchisee, your customer, your employees, everyone to an outcome that creates a future brand that is intergenerational. What that means is you could sell it, or you can pass it down, or you want it to be there in 100 years. The type of business you have is education, it's reality education, and in my mind, people get a real experience. That's what I mean by reality. You give them a real experience. That's what we're about. We're about understanding that education today is about real experience. I thank you for allowing us to be part of what you're doing. And I'm a very focused character. I'm a very strong believer in business. I love business, and I think we'll change the world with business. I like your style of business. I'm glad to be part of it. I hope to meet you in Mexico this month when I'm there. I'm going to be there around November 20. So anytime between then and probably a week and a half, I'll be there. We look forward to meeting your sales staff. Look forward to meeting the owners. Most of all, I look forward to doing business with you. Thank you, Kelly Ritchie.